ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Florida's Silver Springs. Today is a beautiful Sunday, and we will be taking a tour on the glass bottom boat. Yes, right here in Silver Springs, Florida. We're approaching the ticket booth. It's the entrance. And look how expensive it is, okay? Look how expensive. See? But we already prepaid. We did it online. So just have to show them the email and verify. Hi, good afternoon.
Around doing the boat tour.
The boat tour?
You have reservations?
Yes.
What time?
At 3:30?
What's the name?
Imtiaz Mohammed.
Fill this out. First and last name, phone number, and how many you put for. Any of
Yes.
the children 5 and under?
No.
It'll be $8 for the admission. You're gonna go back to the park. Can I ask you film this?
Sorry. Yeah. So we just finished booking in. Yes, so everything was already booked. We barely fall in on the 3:30 ride. Here's the boat. Here's the boat.
Where are you?
I'm at Silver Springs State Park.
Mm-hmm.
The Bay State Park in
So you can see the boats there. So this boat rides are very, very, very exciting for many people. So it's not something that you will just want to come one time and then never want to do it again. It makes you want to come back again and again. This is their welcoming center. No, no. Thank you.
I took a picture of this for mine. She will like it.
So we took the 30-minute boat ride. So I'll give you a glimpse of a little and a little bit as we go by.
You got a paper, right?
You got a paper.
Now you got paper. I'm sticking it.
So this is where we'll be boarding.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all will be on the street Yapalochi with please do watch your step on the way down so you don't want to trip on that experience. But most importantly, enjoy.
As you could see, they're kayaking. And it's beautiful because you rent the glass bottom boat, the kayak boat. Kayaks, yeah. And you can see the bottom too. Awesome, right? This is Florida, baby. Yeah, Florida.
That's why it's bigger and more.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to board.
Please do be careful getting down that ramp. It is a little bit steep this time of year, but outside of that, enjoy.
Oh, we're going in this one.
As you're boarding the boat, take your time down the ramp. Okay?
Yeah, 40 is the next.
Too much cold down here. We saw this stuff called ice down here this year. It was really, really, really weird. We'll send you some more. How about that? All right. All right. Welcome aboard, folks. Guys, my lovely dock hands are going to take off those lines, and once that ramp goes up, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but my lease the next 30 minutes. Can everybody hear me up front? Okay, wonderful. How's everybody doing? My name is Captain Marcelo. I'm a licensed United States Coast Guard captain. And this is an inspected United States Coast Guard passenger vessel. You are on board a third generation glass bottom boat here on the Silver Spring River. This boat has been in operation since the mid-60s. And the United States Coast Guard requires me to go through some safety things before we get started. Is everybody ready for an adventure? I want to make sure everybody's ready for it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, before we start our adventure, folks, up above your heads are some orange things. In over 100 years, we haven't had to use them. Not too sure if they still float, but they are life jackets. No, I'm kidding. They're inspected regularly.
No.
There's child sizes up forward and child sizes
Look that
back
way.
aft. If you're called upon to
Look
do
there,
so,
too.
please reach up and grab one
Look
per
there.
person. Slip your
Look
head
the black
through the
guy.
hole.
Daddy,
There
look
is
the
a
black.
strap that you're going to unfasten, go around your body. Alligator team that's on call, okay? So we don't really need to do drills here, okay? Guys, in case of a kamikaze attack or torpedo strike, we've got a fire extinguisher up forward and a fire extinguisher here. Now, the next safety item that I have to talk about is a marine VHF radio, which is required to be on at all times while I'm operating the vessel. If any of you at any time feel sick, ill, or have any emergency to where you feel you cannot complete this voyage, please let me know immediately. I will radio into the boat dock and I will have emergency personnel and rescue waiting for us at the dock within
Totally
15
missed it,
minutes
eh?
to assist
Oh,
us.
that's
And I will end the trip. 5 miles per hour. Year round, it's at 72.8 degree Fahrenheit. Okay? After those 5 miles, it flows into a longer river called the Ocklawaha River for approximately 150 miles. The Ocklawaha River flows into the St. Johns River. From the St. Johns River, that water all goes to a small pond some of you guys may have heard of called the Atlantic Ocean. So yes, folks, it is true. All the water is connected on Earth. Now that journey from our boat dock to the Atlantic Ocean could take anywhere between 7 to 15 days, guys. This is 100% spring water. This is half-inch thick glass, not magnified, not lit up, zero special effects. What you're seeing is 99.8% pure artesian spring water. Besides the heavy calcium in the limestone in
Look.
it is very pure water, guys. Now, we're going to approach our first spring, and during the entire existence of Silver Springs at a certain point was owned and operated by ABC and Paramount Pictures. What we're going to show you here, folks, is the Spring of the Stars that was named in dedication out of all those crews that were here. What you're going to do, man, is you're going to look down the center of the glass and you're going to look for a split in the river bottom. That split is the vent of the spring.
Oh, I see.
It's coming into view right now,
That is the
guys.
split. Right there.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about these spring things that we're looking at, guys. That split is actually part of a very intricate underground cavern system. That is actually just the opening at the end of that cavern. Now, there could be one cavern or there could be many caverns, but those caverns form as a result of the pounds and the weight of the water within the aquifer. Anybody know what a piece of Swiss cheese looks like? Okay. I know Wisconsin knows what it looks like. Well, the aquifer here in Florida has a top made of Swiss cheese. It's not really cheese, it's actually limestone, but we describe limestone like Swiss cheese. It's a very porous rock, okay? And when it rains and water makes its way through there, it fills these underground tanks. I like to describe them as perfectly square with the piece of Swiss cheese on top of it. That water drips down into that tank and it fills it. And what happens when that tank fills? It starts to push out and up. And then it creates those caverns and those caves. Those caverns and those caves push the water to the surface and create these vents that we're looking at known as springs. Now, the Silver Springs River has over 120 springs. Springs are classified in magnitudes, guys, and one being the greatest or the most intense output of water per day, and 8 being the least. Over here we have our Creature Spring. The Creature Spring is 33 feet deep to its bottom. It has about a 5-foot opening, okay? And that split in between those two rocks that you see, anybody ever heard of a movie called The Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah.
Well, that's how we named the spring. That back down there is the creature's home, guys. And what a guy named Rico Browning that played the creature in the underwater films, there was another actor by the name of Ben Chapman that played the creature on land, because Rico wasn't a very good actor, but Rico swam really well, and Rico could hold his breath for 40 minutes, and Ben Chapman wouldn't even get in the water. Okay? So that was the creature's home down there. And that creature would lay in there and he would wait, and all of a sudden he'd come out and scare everybody. Alright guys, I'm trying, I'm working here for the kids, okay? Guys, we're going to come into this other area here. This area's got a couple different things to show you. I'm going to show you my favorite. Unfortunately, 3 years ago it did collapse, but it was at one time one of 2 magnitude 1 springs that we had. This spring is known as the Abyss. Now, it has since collapsed, and the reason why I show it on my tour is because it started to open up. You're going to see this hole that appears here. See this dent in the water? Well, that's where it's starting to open up. Yeah? Now, I'm told, yeah, it is flowing here. You see it flowing there?
Yeah.
That hole is probably about
See?
3 or 4 months old, okay? But about 3.5 years ago, this whole area was a big cavern that was 81 feet deep, and it was a magnitude 1 spring. Now we're going to show you
So
a
water
magnitude
flowing.
1 spring. So
That's a
remember
spring.
what this looks like now,
See that?
so that when I show you a magnitude 1, you kind of understand why I include this on my tour. So when this spring collapsed, guys, 2 springs opened up. One opened up back here, and another one opened here, because like I just described to you, these aquifer tanks fill with water, and it's got to come somewhere. So it pushed out and made another vein or another cave, which resulted in another vent. I'm going to show you one of these little vents here because I think it's a cute one, and I actually like the name of it. We called this spring the Popcorn Spring. And when we get here, you're going to kind of differentiate why we call it the Popcorn Spring, because it's pretty obvious. Looks like a little popcorn machine. You're going to see it come into the center pane of the glass right now, guys. For those of you on the right side, you should have seen
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it right there. You See that little round dent? That's it. Okay? Now, gradually over time, how does that limestone come out of there? That limestone comes out of there is because it's being forced through something very narrow and it's porous. And as that water pushes, it goes destroying that. Okay? And all those little flakes are those remnants of the pieces of limestone breaking off. Everybody got to see the popcorn string?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, guys. We're going to move along here because we got lots to see and we got a short amount of time, and I like to give you as much information as I can. Guys, for 500 bonus points that are worth absolutely nothing, and they are certainly not redeemable anywhere in the park or at Walmart, guys. Can anybody take a guess at what we call this island here on the right side? I'll give you a hint. Look up on the trees. Say again? Nope, that's not Monkey Island, but we do have a Monkey Island.
Well,
Did you say Bird Island? Somebody say Bird Island? Ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. You got those
Yeah, there's
500
like-
points. Make sure you hold on to them because they may come in handy the rest of the tour, guys. There's 2 nesting birds up there right now, and they're actually aquatic birds. One of those birds is named the cormorant. The other species of bird is named the anhinga, or AKA the snake bird. The anhinga is called the snake bird because when he swims, he tends to move his neck like a cobra. So they nicknamed him the snake bird. Now how do you identify those 2 birds? The cormorant has a curved beak, hook-like shape, and the anhinga has a very sharp, excuse me guys, I'm getting blown into some grass here. Give me 1 second here, let me just separate myself just a little bit here. Got a north wind here that tends to blow me onto Bird Island. And I want to tell you, we also have some gators that inhabit that, and I don't think we want to blow on to Bird Island. So guys, back to those birds. The ones with the yellow and the curved beak, those are the cormorants. The anhingas have a very sharp and long neck, okay? Now they both are aquatic birds, they both eat fish and catch fish and are excellent fishermen. They'll tell you that because you'll see them on the sides of the riverbank with their wings out like this, showing you how big that fish was. No, I'm kidding. He's not really showing you how big the fish is, guys. He was actually telling you that he needs to dry his wings because both those species of birds, unlike ducks, do not have, okay, oil. Hold on a second, guys. I'm in some grass here. That's what happens when the wind kicks up here. I'm actually surprised we're still running tours, guys, because unfortunately they shut us down if we get much wind here, so like I was saying, those birds, okay, they'll sit there and they'll dry their wings out, and you'll see them holding their wings out like that. That's because they're not like ducks. They don't have an oil that these ducks have that dries their wings for them. So what they're doing is drying their wings so they don't get waterlogged. As we're making our way down the river, guys, I'm going to talk about a couple fun facts. I'm going to hold my gator facts for just a little bit longer. So first I'm going to talk about my manatee facts. Does everybody know what a manatee is? Yes. Okay, you see the brown on his neck? That is a female anhinga. The male is all black. The female has that brown bust. You see his beak, how you can't even see his beak because of how sharp it is? See it? Okay, what he does is he stabs the fish right in the head or in the eyes and kills the fish and eats the fish. As to where the cormorant will hunt the fish and hook it with the end of the beak and hold on to it until he kills it. These guys are a little bit more of a sniper hunter, if you ask me. Okay? So everybody knows what a manatee is. I'm going to tell you that this grass down here is known as eelgrass, okay, or ribbon grass. This is what the manatees come up here and eat. But although we have a lot of manatee lettuce for them, or eelgrass, that's not why they come up here, folks. They come up here because of our water temperature. The water temperature stays 72.8 degrees year around. And in doing so, in the winter when the water's dropped below 70 degrees, this gives them a safe place to be because manatees will die if they are in water less than 67 degrees for long periods of time. Okay? Guys, we're making our way into an area called the Spring of Life. Unlike some of the other springs we've seen, this is not one spring. This is many springs, okay? So I invite you to search for them. I like to describe the Spring of Life as kind of like a a sponge. Now, if you see these little craters with limestone in them, those are the vents of the Spring of
Right
Life.
here.
There's, at any given moment, there are 8 documented ones, but there's about 16 different ones that open up here at any given time in this general area. I didn't bring you in here to show you those little springs, guys. I brought you in here to show you something much cooler. And if you give me just a moment, I'm going to talk about a dinosaur.
A dinosaur?
You know what a dinosaur is?
Yeah.
Alright, well, you're going to tell me if I'm wrong or I'm right. But I got a structure down here that looks to be the backbone of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
We're going to start to see that structure now, folks. Everybody see that structure, how it kind of resembles a backbone?
Yeah.
Right, right? I thought so too. Now,
Yeah.
I also thought that that piece of wood there was from Home Depot when they were building a dock. But man, I was wrong. I was wrong twice. It's just a rock. It's not a dinosaur backbone. It's not that cool. Sorry, guys. The University of Florida ruined it for me. They came down here and they carbon dated that rock and they said, no, sir. No, Captain. It's not a dinosaur. It's just a rock. But that piece of wood, in fact, is not from Home Depot, guys. That piece of wood is an ancient Timucua dugout ceremonial canoe. It has been carbon dated to the early 1500s.
Wow.
And the only known people in this area were the Native Americans of the Timucua tribe. We know it's a ceremonial canoe by the dimensions that were studied and the length of it. It's well documented that ceremonial canoes were exactly 30 feet long. So that's what they told me from the University of Florida, but I believe them. Because they wouldn't lie to anybody. They're gators, right? Yeah, the whole length of it's there. And when they did study it, they actually tried to remove it and put it in a museum. Well, they said no way. Put that back there right away because oxygen was gonna destroy it. It's made out of cypress. All these trees that got these finger-like root structures, those are all cypress trees, folks. Those are all federally protected trees, and the cypress tree is a sacred tree. Not only for us here at the Silver River and after wood. In the 1850s, when this river was a commercial river used for logging and farming, it was almost logged to extinction. It is now federally protected, folks. Guys, I'm going to show you another spring here with 2 vents. This is a magnitude 2 and a 3 vent, and has my personal favorite name of the Blue Grotto. If you look at that sunlight coming through there, it almost turns it different colors. And guys, that's a blue and a turquoise that no matter how good a photographer you are, guys, you cannot copy Mother Nature, okay? This is truly spectacular. One of the reasons why they named this river the Silver River was because as the sun would change directions and the clouds and this, the Indians one time believed that there was silver coming out of the river. Actually, it was the Spaniards when they came here and started fighting with the Indians that told the Indians it's silver. We want this area. Well, the Indians fought for it. Guess what? The Indians won, folks. Guys, we're going to move along here and we're going to cross this river here. But as we cross this river, I'm going to hope that I'm not wrong. I'm going to show you 2 special things that we have here. On this log on the right side here, guys, we've got the most photographed and painted duck in the United States. We've got a male wood duck on that log. You see him on there, sir? Right here on the right side. Look, right on this log right here, right close to you. I'm trying to get you so you want to get a photo of him. Look on that log. He's sitting there. He's got his head tucked in. All right.
Yeah, I
As
see
we
him.
go by, he may say hello.
Hello.
Maybe not. A little while ago, I saw the female with 2 chicks. So guys, keep your eyes out peeled because they may be around here, okay? But that's the male wood duck. There are over 4 different colors just on his beak alone, guys. Very, very beautiful duck. Also good tasting, but they're federal protection. So I wouldn't know that. I really don't. I've just heard that. But that's the wood duck right there, guys. Let's see if my other special guest is still hanging out here from my previous tour. I'm looking. You all help me look on the riverbank here and let me know if you see a gator hanging out over there. That right there is a
Baby
spotted
gator.
catfish in there.
Oh,
There he is. He's modeling for you. I told you he was in there. Now, guys, I promise. There's no surcharge for baby gators, okay? But that is a baby juvenile gator. Okay? Would anybody like to go pet him? Oh, come on. Nobody's afraid of the mom? I promise you that mom was in there somewhere.
Another one right there.
Well, that's a little alligator there, guys.
You see the other one?
And he is posing. Great. Thank you. Guys, we're going to move along the river here, and we're going to reach another site here. And this site is a dock. And this dock has a couple different stories over the years of the Silver River history here. First, I'm going to tell you that during the 1870s and 50s, when the river was doing commercial logging and farming and cropping, there were pole barges and later steamships that came up and down this river, moving supplies and crops to the local villages and settlers that were in the area along the riverbanks. Well, this dock is named the Sea Hunt Dock after a television series. But at one time, this was the unloading dock. This was basically the port of the Silver River. So these river barges and pole barges and steamships would come from Jacksonville and up from the Ocklawaha River and come to all different places, and they'd come up here and they'd push up on the shore, and the alligator bodies is. You want to go over there and take a measurement for us? No. And Tom Cruise, in one of the movie scenes, dives off this beautiful cliff and into the ocean. Man, Hollywood is full of it. Because he didn't dive into the ocean, he dove into this river. Because I can tell in the movie that they were largemouth bass swimming next to him. I've never seen a largemouth bass in the ocean, have you?
No.
All right then. So we know that, in fact, it was here. Now, I've been looking for the cliff. If you guys find the cliff, let me know. Yes, sir.
What part of those docks are original? A lot of it?
From what it said to me, those docks are original from the movie set from the TV show Sea Hunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sea Hunt. Part of Sea Hunt was a man named Lloyd Bridges. Yeah. Yeah, you going there? So guys, we're moving back up this river. Now remember I told you this river moves at 5 miles per hour, so it is coming now at us, okay? Do I have any questions on board? Anybody got anything they doubt, or anybody want to know anything that I maybe didn't cover? Nope, everybody's doing good? Alright, wonderful. So I'll ask some questions here, guys. Who can tell me what this stuff hanging on these trees is?
Sea moss.
Spanish moss, 500 points to you, sir. Remember, they're not good anywhere, okay? Don't forget about that. Don't go to the gift shop and tell them I got 1,000 points from Captain Marcelo, because they're going to charge me for whatever you buy. I'm just teasing, guys. Yes, that's Spanish moss indeed, sir. And there's an interesting story about this Spanish moss. Who knows about a guy named Henry Ford? Anybody heard of that guy? Who drives a Ford on here? I'm so sorry, folks. All right, good. Well, if you do drive a Ford, they're great cars. But Henry Ford had this wonderful idea to stuff the insides of the seats of the special Model T, okay, as a luxury feeling with Spanish moss. Well, that wasn't very smart because he was the first manufacturer of cars that created the first American auto recall. All of those cars had to go back to the Ford Motor Company to have the Spanish moss removed because Spanish moss is full of jiggers. And that's where the saying Ford itch came from, guys. Okay? There's another. That's where that came from, guys. That's where that came from. The manatees, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about manatees because I love to see the manatees. The problem with the manatees this time of year is there's more appealing water to them with less traffic and warmer temperatures of the 72.8 degrees. In the wintertime when the water drops 70, they'll come up to 72. They follow water temperature because they can't regulate their body temperature. So they're more than likely they're a little further. We did have it. We had a couple of them up here a couple weeks ago. They didn't stick around. It was literally like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Saturday, we didn't see them anymore. But they come and go. There's said to be about 14 to 16 of them that reside here on the Silver River year-round. Automatically, they'll come up to the surface. They'll exhale their CO2, they'll take in oxygen, and they'll go right back down. And they don't swim up and down. Their body, literally, the buoyancy brings them up. It's actually kind of cool to see. It's hard to see, guys, but it does happen. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the history here of some of the Native Americans here in Florida, okay? There's a statue up here on the right-hand side. Look, turtle. Okay. Billy Powell had a Native American father and a Dutch mother, which in those times meant you spoke English and you were fairly educated. Well, Billy Powell is better known as Chief Osceola. That's Chief Osceola. And Chief Osceola, what he's doing in that statue is there was 3 Indian American wars here between the United States government and the Native Americans. The U.S. wanted to conquer them after 1820 and kick them off their lands here in Florida. Well, they elected Chief Osceola to be their representative because these Native Americans didn't know English. Well, what that statute shows you up there is Chief Osceola and St. Augustine under a peace treaty negotiating with the United States government. He showed up in St. Augustine and he brought back the very contract they handed him, and he said there's no deal. This contract says my people can never come back to Florida and they've got to go to a place called Oklahoma. Well, guys, I'm sure Oklahoma's a very beautiful place, but now that you visited the Silver River with me, you can't disagree with me. Florida's got some pretty unique things some other states don't have, guys. So those Indians said, we're not leaving. Chief Osceola, you go tell those U.S. soldiers we got no deal. And that's exactly what he's doing right there. He put that contract on that log, and he took out his knife, he stabbed that contract dead, and he said, there's no deal. Well, it wasn't very nice what Uncle Sam and the U.S. soldiers did to Chief Osceola and the people he came with. They were supposed to be there under a treaty. Well, they didn't honor that either. They captured him, and they took him up to South Carolina, where he died about 5 years later after that. The wars continued. Many lives were lost on both sides, but something very important didn't happen. Those Seminole Indians never surrendered. Hence, the saying, in present day, the Seminoles is the only Native American tribe that is unconquered in the United States. Now, guys, maybe you guys have heard of this place called the Hard Rock. Those Seminoles are doing pretty good these days. That Hard Rock place has got a lot of money. Guys, this is where I get my oohs and ahs.
I wanted to say that's where I saw you before.
Oh, no, I've never been there. Don't know what you're talking about. So this is the Mammoth Spring, guys. Remember I was telling you about magnitudes? This is our
Oh, yeah.
This is our, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, folks. This is the Mammoth Spring. I'll tell you a quick little bit about this spring and what I know about it.
Smart guy, ain't you? Left the best for the last.
It's a teeny little hole in the ground, no big deal. It's only got 440 million gallons of water coming out of it. Now, guys,
Yeah.
I wasn't very intelligent, so I became a boat captain. I don't know what 440 million of anything looks like. Certainly not money, and I certainly can't count that high, okay? So I asked the question, I said, can you give me something to explain what 440 million looks like? Who knows what an Olympic swimming pool looks like? Who's ever swam in one? Don't you feel small when you look at one? Well, guess what? The Mammoth Spring can fill one in under 4 minutes. Now I understand what 440 million gallons in a day can do. Okay? The other interesting fact is if you look at that moss and that algae that's growing down there, that moss can grow infinite lengths. Okay? What keeps it short and what keeps it laying flat and not straight up and down is that flow of water pushing up against that bottom out of there. So there is a lot of water coming out of there. If you notice, I just now moved the engine, but we moved from all the way over here to over here because we know what this spring does when you stay on top of it? It pushes you out. I'll tell you a quick story what they did here. They had a high diving competition here one year. And up here on this dock, they built a a platform for these crazy guys. I call them crazy, but they dive off this little platform. One man dived 124 feet and broke the Guinness Book of World Records and dove right into the Mammoth Spring. You know why he broke the Guinness Book of World Records? Because he dove from the highest point and went the furthest, the least amount into the water. He only went 4 feet into the water because of the spring water pushing up. So at one point they did do some diving competitions here in Mammoth Springs. So guys, when I tell you when we start the tour that this is not the same water, I wasn't lying, okay? It only takes about half hour for the entire basin to empty and change out at this rate, okay? So I've got one more thing to show you guys, and this last thing is pretty cool because there are some movie props. These movie props were left behind by ABC and Paramount Pictures when they operated. Originally there were 13 of them. They stand 7 feet tall. And there are 3 of them left down here at the bottom of Mammoth Springs, and I'm going to show them to you. And then once I show them to you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. Come up on them right now. Alright folks, these things are going to come into view here in just a second. Here they come.
Oh, look
And
at
I'm going to rotate on it so
Statue right
both
there.
sides of the boat gets to see them. There's 3 guys down there. Those 3 guys, don't worry on the left side. You sat on the wrong side. I'm sorry, it's your fault. I'm kidding. I'm going to rotate. So guys, those 3 figurines stand 7 feet tall, which will help you give you a perception of the depth of the Mammoth Spring that I was not getting. At least 3 of those fit between here and the bottom of the boat at 7 feet tall. Okay? And we are on the edges of the Mammoth Spring. Ooh, very nice. Now, those 3 statues came from a television series starring Bill Cosby called I Spy that was filmed here in Silver Springs Park, guys. The other place where you may have seen those 3 figurines, there's a small little film movie called James Bond. Maybe you've heard of it. Never Say Never. Those are the 3 figurines from Never Say Never, guys. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. Everybody always wants to say, oh, they're not 7 feet tall. I want to touch them. I want to feel them. I want a picture with them. Well, guys, I'm not going to tell you to, but you're more than welcome. It will result in an escort from the park, and it will end your day here. You can jump overboard and go see them. Just don't do that. Inside of that building, we've got 2 of those. Those are 7 feet tall. They're constructed of an ancient Native American material called fiberglass. Guys, this marks the end of our tour, guys, and unfortunately, I'm sad to see everybody go, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me questions once we reach the dock. As we approach the dock, I've got one more thing to ask of everybody on board. Tips are not expected, but they certainly are warmly appreciated for all our work here in the park, and they help me feed myself. Guys, I do accept cash. I also accept used Harley-Davidson parts, but please don't put the motorcycle parts in the glass, okay? That'll get me fired. I'm teasing, guys. As we approach the dock, I'm going to ask everybody to take a look to your left and right. Make sure you take your in-laws. Make sure you take your children. Okay? And if you leave something behind, I promise you, I will turn it into the lost and found for 24 hours. But after 24 hours, on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, for twice what you pay for it. I'm only teasing, folks. We're going to make our way in here, guys. Once again, I'm going to remind you that there may be a small bump coming in here, so please stay seated until we're security fastened to the dock.
And this is our second boat tour.
Boy, that never happens.
First
When I try to
one.
do that, it's like boom, 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 boom.
You know,
That
this
never
is-
happens, folks. I don't know
This
what I
one
did, but I did
is the
something
glass
right
bottom
today.
boats. Yeah.
Guys,
It's
we're standing
Silver
by for
Spring.
that small bump.